I'm going to call this meeting to order. The school board meeting, Monday, October 20th, 2025. Verification of meeting posted. This meeting was posted in accordance with all open meeting laws. Attendance roll call.
Chris?
Here.
Tracy?
Here.
Bob?
Here.
Terry?
Here.
I'm here. Lori?
Here.
Kevin?
Here.
Here.
All right. We do have a quorum. We are going to forego the Pledge of Allegiance since we just did a beautiful version of the national anthem in our annual meeting prior to this, which is, well, yes, we heard it. It was amazing. This is like my favorite part of the whole night. Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We do not have any recognitions tonight. There is nobody signed up for public comment. And we are going to move on to the consent agenda. Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Any discussion, or would anyone like me to remove anything on there for individual consideration? No? All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Student representation, thank you for staying. This is a long night for you. I apologize.
Okay, I'll keep this short because you guys are already at a pretty long meeting, so I'll get mine done with. For the elementary schools, on October 2nd, Bay Lane had their color walk, which was a really fun opportunity for the kids to raise funds for their school and earn prizes. The week of the color walk was also super fun because they got to do spirit days, so they got to dress up with crazy hat day and hair day. Golden awards are also starting at the elementary schools, which is a good way to get rewards for being respectful and responsible. Lakeview also had a glow party, which was so much fun for the students. Test Corners Fire Department will be having their safety talk on the 21st and the 22nd. They come to the schools and just give them fire safety lessons, I guess. And lastly, all elementary schools celebrated United Day on October 15th, promoting kindness, acceptance, and inclusivity by wearing orange. At the middle schools, Lake Danoon is excited to have their second annual foam run fundraiser on the 24th, which is so fun. They get to run through like bubbles. It's awesome. Mosquito Lakes PTO hosted a pumpkin spice fair yesterday on the 19th that had over 80 vendors. At the high school, the clubs, this week is Think Pink Week, so at all of our games like the boys soccer, volleyball, and football, students are encouraged to go there and wear their pink to support breast cancer awareness. Student Council is also having their Spooktacular event on Saturday from 11 to 1 at the high school. And for sports, one of our girls' tennis doubles teams made it to state this past weekend, Avery Buell and Emily Reinsall. They did so well, they actually made it to the third round, but they didn't make it that far. But that is awesome because we have not had that in so long. The MHS boys volleyball team will be coming to Lakeview for an all-school matchup, which basically they're just coming there and trying to get the elementary schoolers hyped up and having fun. So cool. And playoffs for fall sports is also kicking off this week, so good luck to all of our fall athletes. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to other reports. President report, just thank you again for everybody for the annual meeting. I know it's a lot to prepare for. And just thank you for being an awesome board to work with, as I continue to say.
Superintendent's report after.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean, I'm so sorry.
I was going to start expressively dancing my introduction to Mr. Bavlinka.
It was at the top of my page under my blue book here, so I take everything back I said.
We'll get to that. It's important as
and
well.
And I'll re-say it
well
after the superintendent's report.
And I appreciate that.
I thought you guys had read everything that you needed.
No, you know it is in my heart and my privilege to introduce Mr. Andy Bavlinka and the supporting cast. Well, it happens.
Just in case it gets wild, mostly because I might trip, for being honest here.
Well, again, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Andy Bavlinka, our high school principal. Gentleman I've had the privilege of working with for quite some time, and his passion for our high school and the students we serve is second to none, and appreciate the team's commitment to this work. So look forward to hearing what you have.
Thank you, thank you. I just want to introduce the team. We have Ms. Prokop way in the back there. Hello. Mr. Roberts, Mr. Dunbar, Mr. McMillan, and also Mr. Mickley. So thank you guys all for giving us the spotlight for a second here. The focus of the meeting is gonna be on kind of setting the page for what we plan to do this year. You can review the information from the 24-25 school year. We'll start with that some little touches on that, but I really wanna highlight where we're going this year. Had a chance to have a professional development day on October 10th, and one of the things I shared with my staff was a quote from Dr. Jody Carrington. Quote is, and it had a nice little picture too on it, if you can imagine it. It said, "Kids won't learn from people they don't think like them." And it's really a profound thing, and it drives a lot of the work we do as our entire system. We balance both the head and heart piece. I think I pointed wrong way. Your heart's here, head's up here. But we balance that work in what we do. We know that relationships and connecting with people is really at the core of what we do in our system. I say a lot to our staff, and they get kind of tired of it. I'm starting to get made fun of. I might need a new thing. But I talk a lot about planting seeds, and I use a metaphor of watering a garden and watering plants, and it just will not grow. It will not grow. It will not grow. In fact, in deserts, it doesn't grow for a year sometimes, and you occasionally get these super blooms where it like blossoms. We don't always see that. We might see a plant here, some plants down the time. That's work we do. I'm gonna switch slides. I'm not gonna ask because I have the clicker. I took it. Sorry, Todd. Some highlights from the 24-25 school year, and really. This is work from the entire building, so I think that's a celebration. You can see it's the highest we've ever performed on our composite ACT. We are, as you know, a PLC district. That's no different at the high school. The work we do is about continuous improvement. There's a really cool story about Little Muskego and Red there. If you go back to 2018-19, 2017-18, you go back far enough, we're at 21.6. And there's this continued line like this over the last decade, and that's us. And I think we're at the high school get the privilege of being a reflection of that work happening at our lower levels, where there's just this continuous line of work. The school that's in first had a great year. Kudos to them. We did what we did. We just improved. We're trying to close those margins and improve. But the school that's in first in 2019 was actually at 23.9. And then they went way down, and they had a good year. And I don't know that they have the same systems we do, and our system is the people in the district. It's the connections with the heart, building those relationships, believing in the kids and believing in each other, and then finding the right strategy and the right curriculum supports to continue to build. So that's a huge celebration, and our celebration is really a K-12 celebration. Well, I didn't hit the right button. See, this is Lori. This is why I should not have had the click. I'm back. Sorry. All right. There it is. No, right one.
Yeah, that's right.
I want to do it in math. Okay. Again, the journey to success is not a straight line. We were in first last year in math. We're in second this year, but it really is a success. You can see that continued line of improvement. And we had this last year. We had the second most advanced students we've ever had reach that advanced threshold, and the highest, tied for our highest ever ACT math. So a huge success. Our math teachers are really proud of the work they're doing, and they're excited to see if they can make it back to the top spot. But mostly they're excited about seeing the students in front of them and seeing if each of them can be the best that they can be. Here we go. This is our ELA on the ACT. It's the combining of reading, English, and writing. And for reading in 24-25, we were second with a 23.0, the highest score we've ever had in reading. And I know that as a district, that's been a area of focus for us. It certainly was at the high school. It was our lagging area. Building wide, we set a goal to have what we're calling a culture of literacy and continue that work. We see students writing, we see students reading in areas where they're not traditionally doing so. Solving word problems in geometry, explaining and doing thinking and writing in an applied math class. So that work, I think, honestly just tapping the surface of that, and we're hopeful we can continue to see growth there. But we're really excited about that. And again, you can see the story. It's been in the 22s. A couple of years before that, it was in the 21.8, 21.9 range. And you can see that continuous work upward. What is wrong with me? I think I have thick fingers. Really exciting work in English. Our English department, 22.8, the highest they've ever been in the English portion of the ACT. Fits right in that bubble of what we're trying to do in literacy. We want our students to be good readers. We also want them to be strong communicators in writing and speaking and listening as well. That's really exciting, and I know that our English department takes a lot of pride in the work. Kind of clicking our way here. About middle of the year, I sent some pandemonium into our English 11 team in a good way. I said, let's try something different with writing this year. And then I was kind of like, I don't know what to do, And they came up with a plan. A couple of weeks later, they set a meeting that we're going to do these things. They talked about doing some really explicit teaching around it, what to expect, and they also created an incentive structure, and we saw some really good growth. And again, you see a couple-year trend up there too, and that's exciting. That was a big chunk of our overall ELA growth was through the writing, and I'm excited. I think there's more there. That was like 4 months of pretty focused work on that. So, and I want to go back to, and again, the district in first had a really great year. But we're proud of that continuous improvement. And I'm not picking on the district in first. They're in first. You can't pick on them. But we love that continuous improvement work. This is science, tied for the highest score we've ever had. And if you go back, you can see 21.7, 22.1, 22.6, 22.9, 22.9. That's a really great story of things happening in our science classroom. We have biology teachers meeting weekly, collaborating. Talking about how they can support our students that struggle. We talk about bottom quartile in our district. At the high school, we refer more to our students who are struggling. How do they scaffold assessments? How do they teach differently to make sure that it's accessible to all learners? So that's really exciting there as well. They want to get above 23 so bad. They're right there. Students with IEPs, we've for a very long time been in green, whether it's light green or dark green, and that's a really exciting thing as well. A little bit of a dip last year. Variations in populations are a little bit of a thing here because it's a smaller sample size. Our students struggled with the math portion last year, as you saw earlier today. We're doing some work with that. We, as a math group, trying to make our students get up and make math more tangible has been a focus. Getting them up on the board, getting them actually doing math a little bit. It's definitely, hopefully, going to make some improvement there. This graphic, I think we've shown some variation of this graphic for the last 12 years. It looks a little prettier this year because I put a One Warrior banner on the bottom. However, we've had a goal to be over 40 since before the graph started. In 2015-16, we were trying to get that number to go up. And again, it's been slowly kind of chiseling, gently angling up. And then this past year, we were really excited. We got over 40 on the goal. What that really is a measure of in my head is a student who's really well-rounded in the skills that they have. It's a student who can math. It's a student who can write proficiently. It's a student who can read technically and be successful. And it's also a student who has enough scientific language and background that they can look at a table or a graph and draw inferences. We know that a student who can do that can go to college, but can also be successful wherever they go. Those are really pretty deep skills. So that's really exciting. I mean, when I saw that, I actually double-taked. I was like, wow, that's awesome. All right, so what's leading to our success? I actually cheated the slides from last year. Don't judge me. But really, it's a big portion of it, isn't it? There isn't a fancy answer to the work they do. You don't have to tell me you're tired of hearing about PLCs. I'm right, because you hear about it, but it really is at the core of what we do. Because if you want to continuously get better, that's the process. What do you want students to know, right? How are you going to assess it? How are you going to scaffold it for kids who already get it and then don't get it? And how are you going to measure it? And the reason it's the process is because once you've answered those questions, it begins again. The variable becomes kids come in at different points, and that's a great way to meet them where they are. The work's constantly evolving because the teachers change and the kids change and the material changes. But that's the core of who we are. Some next steps for us more specifically, because I know that's why you're here, right? My big 3 leadership focus areas at the high school have been, and I think will likely continue to be, although the things under them change. I'm focused on student culture, student achievement, and staff engagement. And I define those, and my team has heard this. For student culture, it's the combination of do kids want to be in the school and do they feel connected? And then also, how do we support behavioral growth? And it's that sweet spot between where those two things intersect. Some focus areas for us as a team this year. We have really emphasized, kudos to my team because they're huge drivers of this. Having a huge administrative presence in the hallway. We can't be building relationships with kids unless they get to see us and get to know us, and it's all of those thousands of positive interactions that I think head off negative interactions. There's a theory of law enforcement where if you police the small stuff, you don't get the big stuff, and I tend to believe with that. We've implemented a hall pass system here. The news is here, so this is very appropriate. We've implemented a hall pass system. We do not restrict the number of students using the hall pass system. However, for us, it's a way to keep kids out of the hallway. I believe, and our team believes, and our staff have been very supportive of it, that students can't learn if they're not in the classrooms. We have to know where they are, we have to keep them on task and create a less disruptive environment. And then additionally, we've come back around our phone focus in the building. It's kind of been every year, to be honest. We just keep tightening it because we know that kids aren't winning the battle with their phones. They're designed to manipulate our minds, and they're very addictive and distracting, and they lead to a lot of social drama. So that's been our student culture engagement piece. Some other bullets that I could put on there. We have our version of the high school PBS we call Spark Team. We're trying to create some positive incentives and some positive cultural aspects. Ms. Prokop has been leading the One Warrior initiative with our activities department and working together with our student leadership groups from athletics and activities to get our students to go to each other's events so that we really truly become that one warrior. Wouldn't it be great if the tennis team showed up for the swim team, right? Wouldn't it be great if at the drama club you have the girls basketball team? And that's the idea we're trying to promote, is getting we're trying to get our students to lead it for each other. So we're really excited about where that's gonna take us. Kind of working my way over to the graphic, I don't think any one thing I said is gonna make us go like this. It's that incremental growth, right? Sometimes it's imperceptible. That graph shows the power of 1% better every day over time. I think that's a really cool graphic. Student achievement, we're gonna continue to work on our PLCs. We have some PLCs that are a little further along in the work. Some need a little push, some are getting refinement. Continuing to work on our literacy work and find places that we can help our kids be literate. I believe really deeply that basic literacy and basic mathematics drive a lot of what happens outside of school, and it leads to kids being successful. And we talk about closing gaps for people over the course of their life. If we want kids to be successful outside of high school, they have to be literate. They have to be able to read materials, documents, understand how to ask questions, how to listen, how to view a tutorial video, and then take that information into action. So I think for me, that's a really deep part of that literacy work, is finding out what it means in each space. As an English teacher, it was very easy for me, but what does literacy mean in a technical education classroom? It's a technical manual. In a science classroom, it's looking at a table and understanding what the data means and not having to have somebody summarize it for you. The last darker bullet there is staff engagement. We will go nowhere without our people. We are who we are because of our great teachers, our great support staff, our great administration. So for us, that's really important. We also know, and Jeremiah said this to me, it's really stuck in my craw, so to speak, the idea that staff stay together if they have a friend in the building, right? Or they have a colleague that they connect to. We talk about 90% retention. That's just a number. That doesn't mean a ton to me. When I walk in and I see people hanging out in the hallway before school together, that's a group of people that are gonna be there, and they're gonna push each other to be great for kids. So we create at the high school big staff, right? Some challenges, probably 140, 150 people working here together, just opportunities. Our staff engagement team that's led by Mr. Roberts does a great job organizing events on Fridays for staff and all of those sorts of things. My administrative team also helps to support. I think Mr. Dunbar might have been at the last one. We have an event on once a month on Thursday called Answers with Andy. Horrible name, did not choose this. What it is though is essentially a forum for staff to come together with challenges, and they share them to the members of the group, and they bring them together and we form them. And it doesn't always feel good. I mean, sometimes it's that work, right? We work in a really, really good school, and sometimes the problems feel like grits of sand, you know? But they're a grit of sand. If we can get rid of it, it doesn't create the friction, it creates bigger problems. And we've come up with some great solutions this year. Mr. McMillan helped us out with a scheduling issue we were having during the day. We're gonna try something new. It might work, it might not, but that's what we do. We try new things. So this is really the core of what we do at the high school are those three areas. Speaking of student engagement, we have a goal every year we set to get co-curriculars at 70% of our students involved in a co-curricular. We hit that for the first time last year, barely. We're hoping we can stay there. We've been hovering in the high 60s. That's really, really important work. Another goal we always set is around how students are treated in the school. That question changed on the survey So it's not, we can't draw the same information from it yet. Previously, the question now is students treat me with respect at the school. In the past, it was students treat students with respect. And the phrasing of it really is a little bit different because it goes from a large group to a single group. But we are excited to dig into that. And I think, again, anecdotally, I think we're seeing some good things there. Some fast facts. This is the work from Mr. McMicklig and the Connect Academy and all of the work he does with the Youth Apprenticeship Grant, the CTE grants, and getting kids into those workplace experiences. About 250 students had paid positions last year. That's outstanding. Average hourly wage was $13+ an hour. That was reported. We do know that some of our kids don't report, which Mr. McMicklig and I actually think the number may be higher. It's sometimes not reported. There was $1.16 million in pay year to date. That includes the summer work that are reported by our students. That's outstanding. Those are real dollars in the pockets of kids. I think that a lot of times students learn a lot about finance through having to purchase things and have their own money versus their parents' money. I've long believed that. I also know students are paying for expensive things like gasoline, vehicles, and getting prepared for college and tech schools. So that's great. There's a metric that one of the work groups does in in Wisconsin, where they talk about the impact on local economy. The estimated local economic boost is $8.2 million in our local businesses through the work being done. Whether it's revenue generated or money being spent down the line, that's a really big impact in our community. And we're blessed, and we'll get to this more, we're really blessed to have some really, really strong partnerships to make this happen. This is not by accident. Mr. McMicklig, if you're still awake back there, that one's for you, because he's driving it. You can see the top 5 highest rated qualities on the employer evaluation. These are what our employers look for. Really didn't change 24 to 25, I'm not shocked. They reordered a little bit. And I think one of the things that you'll see at the very top is attitude towards coworkers, and adaptability is pretty high as well. Dependability, honest. These are what we used to call soft skills when I was a kid, but we've rebranded like 38 times since then. But this is, can people interact in a lot of ways, right? And how do you interact with humans? One of the side byproducts that we're seeing with kids having the phones down in classrooms is we're having kids who are better able to do that and doing that a little bit more frequently. I don't know how to collect data on that, but I'm seeing it and it's making me, it's filling my bucket because I know that that's what they're gonna need to have a full life beyond school. My daughter's a senior this year here, and I talk with her a lot about her life isn't on her phone. It's actually out here, but it's really hard to break the cycle. So I think that we want our students to have those skills as they leave and they attend to the rest of their life. There we go. All right, so what makes us special, besides that banner at the bottom? It is the one warrior thing, right? That's what makes us special. I'm gonna start with the picture on the right. That's the You Matter banner that our students hung out on the Peers for Peers night at a football game. Really cool group. The Peers for Peers group has grown so large they've actually had to interview into it. These are students who are committed to helping other students, and it's a pretty amazing impact. So if you see students wearing a Peers for Peers shirt in either green or purple, that's what it's in reference to. Another thing that makes us that one warrior experience, we had about 150 kids sign up to be mentors for the Warriors Welcome Back event for Warriors 101 for our incoming freshmen. These are students who have enjoyed their experience so much that they gave time over the summer to welcome the new kids coming in. And I think that's really powerful. That we have our students who like the experience so much at our school that they want others to have that same great experience, and they've learned through their journey how to overcome some of the challenges, and they wanted to impart that knowledge. It's exciting. Other things that make us special. That is on the left, welcome back for our teachers. This young lady is a representative of our Educator Rising Club, which is a club for aspiring potential educators, people who want to work in education. She organized, I think, almost single-handedly a breakfast for our staff on this first day of school, and it was just posing for the picture there with the big A banner. But Sophia really crushed that. Middle picture is our first groups of students of the month. I got to meet with them last week. One of the things that amazes me about our school, and I think it would you too, if you're walking through and meeting with our kids, is we have 1,630-ish kids, and something like the top 5% is something around 4.4 GPA. Which when you go down with that, and probably a 34, 33 ACT to be in the top 5%, which means we have many, many, many amazing kids that don't get some of those accolades. When I'm meeting with a few of our students in a month, I'm like, oh my gosh, you have such an amazing story. You have so many things in front of you that are gonna be exceptional. It's been really cool. We highlight students based on their recommendation of a teacher for the Warriors Way. So they have to represent something from that selection group versus strictly academic. On the right side this is a picture from our academic excellence breakfast in May of last year. We had about 140 students of 400 that had above a 3.5 GPA in that senior class. Something that makes us special. We have amazing students really working hard. I don't even know how these pictures ended up on here, especially the one on the left. Maybe that's not a celebration, but it is kind of fun. That's during homecoming week. That's the senior dress-up day when they dress like seniors, and they like to crash out in a hallway and just kind of, just do the thing, right, and take pictures, and they eat their butterscotches for a minute. But one of the coolest things about this group is I asked them to not do it in a stairwell, because you can picture the stairwell when you got about 120 seniors in it, and they're like, okay, we'll go do it in the front. Is that fine? That is great. Let's have some fun doing it. So we went up there and took pictures. I just thought that their mindset around that was really exceptional, because they still got to have their fun, but it didn't affect the operation of the school or put somebody maybe in an unsafe spot on a stairwell. And they definitely had fun. Picture again of our building trades students doing some framing and other tech things. I don't know what they're doing there with tools, cool stuff. Kids learning to be future construction workers and builders of our country. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff all the way around. I could kind of circle through a lot of these pictures, whether it's powder puffs, robotics, a concert. The top corner there, we're celebrating staff at a football game. We have the military celebration night at a soccer game. We have students coming in over the summer working on college essays, or the one in the middle. This is a true story. Mr. Irvine, we'll call him Superintendent Irvine here, came up to me after this game, and we hadn't seen this yet, and he, this happens a lot to me, he does this. He asks me about things I should know about because he ran the building for so long, right? So you can picture what that's like happening sometimes. And he goes, are the students still cleaning up the student section? And I hadn't said anything to him about it this year. And I was like, yeah, probably. And I point, and they were. And the seniors just continued the tradition of previous years. And isn't that a good example of school culture, is when the traditions outlive the people who started them, right? So I think that was really cool. Thank you for putting me on the spot, and thank goodness it was happening. I don't know what would happen next, but you can see more celebrations here. You have a science classroom where students are learning. You have professional development opportunities. The bigger one in the middle there is a community member who's a professor at UWM speaking to our formerly Avid students. You have the Stuff the Sal celebration. You have obviously an obligatory Tito picture. You name it. We have the little guys running at a youth soccer game. We have the Friday band crew that comes in and does the national anthem, live music every Friday for the national anthem. So cool. Love that. Oh, and then we also have our staff skit picture there. And I was told that if it was a video game, I would have only had 19% of the dance moves down. That's fair. All right, last 2 slides, I think, unless I added more. I don't know, could have happened. It's a fever dream. Community support for our programming. I saw this online. I was on the Facebook page, this Muskego Strong logo. I know it brings back some memories because it came up during COVID, but it actually is the best of the best with our community. This is us coming together with need. Our community is so profoundly good at that when there's a need coming together. We have a bunch of business partners that support our academic programming. I'm just going to read a couple that Mr. Mick spit at me the other day. He didn't spit them at me. He said that to me. He's not really prone to do that. But here's some that came up. Donating. We run these building trades classes and the tech classes, and they're expensive. I mean, we need materials for the kids to do the work. Roofing partners with roofing materials. Coach Damo, Michael Vidmar from Vidmar Roofing, Certainteed, the NARI Foundation, and their support of the Next Gen Trades Challenge, D&H Industries for pallets of metal. You can imagine what pallets of metal would cost. Great partnership with the Muskego Police Department with their cadet program and micro internship, and being able to provide speakers anytime we ask. We actually had officers in leaving a self-defense class the other day. It was really cool. And then obviously the work with the Muskego Chamber of Commerce, whether it's mock interviewing, networking, and community days. So that's very valuable, makes a huge difference with our programming. We are not able to go as far as we can without those partnerships. And thank you, Jim, for cultivating them. He's a big portion of that. On the other side of the coin is that co-curricular programming, athletics and academics. These are just a few of the partners that we have make significant donations, whether it's turf for a football field, whether it's uniforms, whether it's money for funding through Friends of Robotics, whether it's a piano or drums this past year with the drum line with the Friends of Music. I can't even name all of them. It could be mats and cleaning materials and wrestling, but these largely community-driven, parent-driven groups are the backbone of what we're able to do with our programming. Our parents, and I've said this 100 times, our parents show up for our kids if we need something, and the community pride in this community drives a huge part of what we do. I gave a tour, my first year I gave a tour from the class of 1974. I just did one from a class of 1985, and they were so proud of what we've become, and they're also equally as proud of the little piece that they are still here. Like when they saw the bleachers from the North Gym down in the new wing, their jaw dropped because they recognize that we aren't who we are without being where we're from. So it's exciting stuff. It's the last one. Does anybody have any questions?
Great presentation.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
All right, well, I don't have a report now. Thank you for keeping, I have my glasses. I thought I had everything in line, you know. But thank you, everybody, for everything. I'm just gonna move right on to other board member reports. Jason?
Nothing.
Lori? Kevin?
No.
Chris?
Nope.
Tracy?
We had our CISA 1 meeting last week, Wednesday, can't even remember. Last week, Wednesday, we are also feeling a budget crunch too with healthcare needs, so I could relate while I was sitting in those meetings. They are very much pushing for topic-wise AI information, so it'll be interesting to see what comes through for that. And other than that, that's all I got.
All right, thank you, Tracy. Bob? All right, committee reports. Educational Services Committee.
So as per the minutes, we are in the process of finalizing our academic guidebooks for 26-27, and we'll be bringing a motion forward at the next board meeting.
Policy, nothing? Business Services Student Engagement Legislative Advocacy Committee report. Can we please make a motion to make that into an acronym of some sort?
Eventually. We'll come up with something. Tonight we discussed one of the resolution action items coming up, and that will come forward for approval related to cash flow borrowing.
All right. Okay, resolution action items.
Motion to approve early college credit program and Start College Now credits as presented.
Any second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution authorizing temporary borrowing.
Motion to approve the resolution authorizing temporary borrowing in an amount not to exceed $4,150,000 pursuant to section 67.12 sub 8 sub A 1 Wisconsin's statute with Northland Securities as presented.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The 25-26 budget.
Motion to approve the 2025-26 budget as presented.
Discussion.
Julie, can I just ask a quick question? In committee, we talked about the increase of 0.8%, right? When I looked at last year's preliminary budget, it was a little bit more than that. So can you tell me the final numbers of last year compared to this year, please?
So the 0.8 was just the revenue limit itself.
Okay.
But we have funds outside the revenue limit that also can support increases like open enrollment grants and other.
Okay.
So that's the difference between the budget increase and then the revenue limit
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 25-26 tax levy.
Motion to approve the 2025-26 tax levy as presented.
Second.
On discussion. Julie, did you want to go over any of that?
I can,
Yeah, why don't you just, since it's different.
sure. Sorry, I was like right in the microphone, I apologize. So when we set the preliminary budget in the annual meeting just a few minutes ago, the tax levy is actually up to 4.95%. That is a result of final numbers coming across the state, determining state aid amounts for districts, which then in fact determines our tax levy. We also had an increase in voucher students, and when we have that increase, those costs come through our levy and then as revenue, and then we pay them out as expenses, so we're kind of like a flow through for that program. But an increase to that would also increase the levy as well. With net new construction, we are looking at an overall increase of approximately 3.78%, because net new construction is about 1.17%, so that brings our 4.95% down to what taxpayers will actually feel. Generally across the board is a 3.78% increase. And again, this is very specifically due to how the state is funding us. Historically, they've given us revenue limit increases to grow our pot of money, but then also supported us with state aid. And when they support us with state aid, our tax levy is offset. In the biennial budget, we received no new state aid, so we were able to increase our pot by $325 per student. However, without any new state aid, that increase has to be absorbed from the tax levy.
Any questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And the deputy clerk.
So we need a nomination before.
Tracy Blair would be the nomination. I would nominate Tracy Blair to fulfill the deputy clerk position.
Okay. Motion to approve nominated board member Tracy Blair to be the deputy clerk for the 2026 board election duties.
Okay, so discussion, because Jason is on the ballot, we need to appoint and nominate somebody to run the just election piece of the clerk duties. So since Tracy has done it before, it made complete sense to ask her to do it again, and she gracefully agrees.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Anyone have any questions on that? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, so moving on, there are no discussion items, information follow-up. There you will find your support staff co-curricular hires resignation and retirements page. And then I'm going to, we're going to do a full for closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.8 sub C for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of specific employees over which the board has jurisdiction, specifically salaries. And I need first and a second.
Second.
We will only return to open session to adjourn. And does anyone have any other questions on it?
Is this a roll call or is this?
It's a roll call. So there's no other questions, then roll call vote.
Chris?
Here.
Tracy? Bob? Terry?
Yes.
Yes. Lori?
Yes.
And Kevin?
Yes.
Okay. We are in closed session. So we'll move to where?
234.
Okay.